The Get On Living Safely campaign is sponsoring this podcast to remind you to keep your spending in the community. Supporting local businesses keeps food on the table for our friends and neighbors. Follow them on social media and learn more at getonlivingsafely.com. Chris Yarolimek is the founder of Crossome clothing company. Chris shares the origins of the t-shirt brand, his love of local music, his strong sense of local pride that helps shape the business, and what's next for Crossome. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Chris Yarolimek, born here in La Crosse. Coincidentally, I actually don't even do the screen printing. I do the designing, but haven't printed either locally here on 3 Design above Pearl Street Brewery. I actually have a buddy with a printing shop as well. So I'm more of a creator of a lifestyle brand in this Lacrosse brand as opposed to, a screen printer or anything like that. So
what led you to Crossome Clothing Company?
I guess I've always been into brands and streetwear, I guess, even if you call it that. Look back at like pictures when I was a kid, I was rocking OP shirts and silver tab jeans, and you get a little older and you're asking your parents for the ridiculously expensive Girbaud jeans or Jordans or starter jackets, all that stuff. I've always been into that stuff. And you get to a certain age and you realize that, you're not constantly being marketed to when you get into the age I'm in. And it kind of dawned on me that there was maybe a niche for something. Then you get into like the vintage stuff or band t-shirts, stuff like that. I just thought, I kind of saw an opening where I thought connecting the two pieces of high quality, apparel and then local tie-in is kind of basically where it was born.
The company has a strong sense of local pride. I mean, just based on the name alone. Why is that important to you?
We're proud of where we're from. Community pride is, it's not always something tangible like a building or like the nature trails or the culture events that go on. It's more about like the non-tangible things that connect us as people. And, I love wearing like a Lacrosse shirt at an airport and you're in a different state and somebody sees 608 and they ask, what's that about? Oh yeah, I visited Madison or I visited Wisconsin. And then you get a little bit closer and, I'm from La Crosse. And, they bring up, I've been to Oktoberfest, or, I have relatives there. I love the Bluffs. I love that area. That's one of the cool things about what I've been able to do. Just kind of connects people. For a while there, it was trending about 40% of all of our sales, our online sales, were from out of state. So it's people that left the area. And again, the only reason they're even looking for that stuff or finding it is because of the pride. They miss the area. Any given week, I could be sending stuff to Nashville one day and California the next day. And what's really neat is I like to kind of communicate with the people who buy the products and ask them, their story, or on social media, they'll connect with me and say, went to college in La Crosse. Now I live in Chicago, but I love wearing my Lacrosse stuff. So.
No, definitely. I've been traveling before and had people reference a shirt I'm wearing specific to Lacrosse. Actually, internationally as well, that happened to me once. And it just seemed like they automatically had a ticket to just come up and start talking. And we just shot the shit and just chatted for a little bit. What has been the response towards this sort of product? People excited about it?
Yeah, just like any entrepreneur or startup, you learn a lot along the way. So I've learned finding your core customers. It was very hard for me not to want to chase the college students, because I just thought, that's going to be my customer. And then you start learning more about how you're going to market this and kind of diving into the archetypes of a brand and realizing that a college kid they're not old enough to have the nostalgia. Styles are so quick to change and they don't want something that their parents are wearing or some, 40-year-old guys wearing. So, I remember back to when I was in college and, Abercrombie was a brand and it was just basically you go to the mall and you buy whatever Abercrombie put out that week or that month. It just was like this unifying thing. And I realized very quickly that isn't what I wanted to be or could be. So I just kind of went more towards what I want to wear, what my friends would wear, what I would wear with my kids to the Eckers Farm apple orchard, on a Sunday afternoon, have a couple beers and something relaxing, high quality. And then if it has a strong design and simple, strong muted colors, stuff like that, And that's what I found. The stuff that I would wear, it's the stuff that my customers would wear. So it really brought me back to my core customer. Feedback's been great. My customers have been awesome through this whole pandemic. Online sales have been just as strong as ever. Kind of, dodged a bullet there. And the fact that it's a side gig for me, I can kind of choose to work with who I want to. I mean, that's kind of another root of why I wanted to get into this is first year, maybe I had to kind of take what was offered. But once I got to that level, that spot in the journey where I could, if I loved a band, I could reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to make some shirts for you because I like your band and I don't want to make shirts for somebody I don't support or like. People would call me and want to do custom stuff. Oh, can you make shirts for my organization? And I'm like, I'm not a custom t-shirt screen printing company. And if you want that, I have the number for here's 5 different places in town that could do that. But I really wanted to build like a lifestyle brand. And it just happened to start with t-shirts. I'm looking at kind of expanding in different areas. And that's kind of where the music piece came in too. It's the journey into how we got to that CD is the Cooley Rocks is, I met the guys from Midwest Voltage and just absolutely hit it off with you and the guys. And just over multiple nights of, having a couple beers at local spots here, we were talking about marketing. And I think my struggle at that point was, I was paying money to market the traditional way in a magazine or in a, newspaper or whatever. And I wasn't getting the ROI that I wanted. And I was like, there's got to be a better, a different way, more underground. And it kind of brought me back to, the 90s when you would buy those music compilations, the CDs with all your favorite punk bands on it. They would always be sponsored by, surf brand or a skateboard brand or something. And I was like, I can take that same amount of money that I would have put in this publication or, an online ad and put it to something that I love, which is music, help out local musicians that maybe wouldn't have the means to put together this compilation on their own. And Hugh really took it from there, rallied a bunch of bands together. And I didn't have a whole lot to do with it. He put all the music together. And then Jesse Wolf did the blending. I basically designed the cover and slapped my logo on the back and said, here, and so we gave a bunch of copies to the bands so they could sell them or give them away. And yeah, I'd love it to become an annual thing, or every couple of years we do another volume. It didn't absolutely bring ROI to Crossome, but I think it did a way better job of getting our name out there and opened the eyes to the group of people that I wanted to market to, which is people like myself who love local music, love going out and seeing local bands and help support the community in a different way than maybe other people are supporting it.
Yeah, so people can actually pick up that Cooley Rocks Volume 1 and has people from Tugged, from The Worst, Zamek, Deathless Dogs, who I'm a big fan of. All sorts of different people that people can pick up, all local, doing original music. So that takes me to the next one. Where can people buy your product? So they can buy it online.
Yep, lacrossome.com, the number one spot to buy anything. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Eventually funnel it back to lacrossome.com. Currently, I'm not in any brick and mortar retail. Fall, winter of 2018, we had a grant that I was a part of with some other folks. The Pearl Street Pop-Up, it was called. It was a partnership between Cooley Cap and downtown Main Street. So we got the opportunity, a bunch of small local businesses got the opportunity to test out, an actual brick and mortar shop and see if it was something that we wanted to evolve our businesses to, and met some great people. I mean, the biggest thing that I gained out of that was some relationships. Sarah from Driftless Skincare was awesome. Chuck from Paterfamilias, Jason from Jason Ray Photography, Jen from Meringue Bakery, awesome local entrepreneurs, doing great things, and just really got to surround myself with some awesome people. Realized, being a side gig, I didn't think I was probably ever going to have an actual storefront. I've tried to be open to consignment. Different shops have approached me, and we've done it a few different times where we've carried our line in different stores. And I'm still open to opportunities, but I like the control of the online where I can just kind of run it out of my house. And pop-ups, there's a million opportunities. This year was obviously not as many, but previous years, there's so many opportunities to get out in the community and do pop-ups. And get in front of the customers.
So what's next for you? What's coming down the line? You said there wasn't much of a difference, due to COVID. Is there anything you're really excited about?
I'm excited about the uncertainty, and I'm excited about not knowing what is the next thing. I'd love to get more into music. I've talked to Midwest Voltage about maybe putting out their next CD. Number one in my life right now is family. I got a young family. I got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old daughter. And then I got a day job too that absolutely keeps me on my toes. So Crossome is definitely my creative outlet that kind of turned into this juggernaut that I can kind of control how I want to. So the people have made it awesome. The fans, I have a lot of return customers. They're always waiting on our next release. And this year we, kind of took approach of wait and see. So we didn't release a spring line per se. And we, had a lot of inventory left over from last year, and it gave people a chance to purchase a different style that we've had. And we've discounted some of our old stuff. But yeah, I don't know what the future is going to hold. I'm open to a million things. I started it as a t-shirt company that I wanted to be more of that. And I think you'll see more moving away from that and into some other areas.
So if people want to follow along, what's the best spot for them to go?
I would say social media, Facebook and Instagram. That's where we post anything new and any sales. And that's how to really connect with us.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.